Hi, my name is Sally Gere. Today I'm excited to be here and to talk with the president of the DC Bar and my longtime and dear friend, Susie Hoffman, about one of her signature initiatives for her year as bar president, and that is the 2020 Bar Conference. The conference will mark the 100th anniversary of the passage of the 19th Amendment, which guarantees women the right to vote. This will be the first multi-day conference that the bar has had in over 20 years. Welcome, Susie.
Hi, it's good to see you, Sally.
So, as the DC Bar president, what made you decide that this would be one of your initiatives?
Well, when I realized that my bar year was going to encompass the anniversary of the passage of the 19th Amendment, I jumped at the opportunity to include it among my initiatives because of its historical relevance for us today. I think this anniversary really highlights the continuing struggle for women to achieve equality and to obtain voting rights for racial minorities. The conference, as you know, will include sessions on the current state of voting rights and attempts to suppress voting rights, and it will also cover women's issues such as equal pay, Title IX, and workplace harassment. The other wonderful thing about the 19th Amendment occurring in my year is it gave a focus for a multi-day conference that hasn't been, as you noted, hosted in nearly 20 years. And I think the conference is important really to bring together our members from both near and far to commemorate this important event.
One of the ways that I know both you and I informed ourselves was we read Elaine Weiss's terrific book, The Woman's Hour. What struck you? What did you learn that you hadn't known before? Did you have like an aha moment?
Well, I actually had several aha moments as I read Elaine's book and did other reading. The first thing that really struck me was the sheer length of time that this battle took. As you know, it spanned 70 years, and it really brought home for me how much the women sacrificed and how hard fought this battle was. The second thing that struck me was how volatile the issue was, the social and cultural upheaval that the amendment posed to our society if it passed. One of my favorite parts of Elaine's book is the political cartoons, which portray a woman with the briefcase in hand, leaving the home, leaving behind a bedraggled husband with a screaming baby. And so for many in society, this is what the passage of the amendment portended. And I just thought that was fascinating.
How does the 100th anniversary of the passage of the 19th Amendment affect you personally?
I think before I started reading in preparation for the commemoration of the anniversary, that I thought the passage was easy, just an easy up or down vote in states across the country. But in reading the various books and studying the exhibits at the Library of Congress and at the National Portrait Gallery, I realized what a tremendous struggle, and struggle is the word, that it was, and the sacrifices that women made in order for me, to have the right to vote. So it made me cherish that right even more, and it makes me want to fight for us to keep that right and for each citizen in our country to have that right. As you know, there have been recent efforts to restrict or suppress the right to vote, particularly in some of our southern states. I think it's really important for us to work to protect that right. I think that this anniversary, in a sense, is a clarion call for us to work to make sure that there are not restrictions put on the right to vote, and that each individual in our democracy has the right to exercise that freedom. As you know, I'm a pro bono person, and one of the calls that I've sort of sent out there is to make sure that you vote, and then also to work with efforts, nonpartisan efforts, hotlines, the Election Protection Project, to make sure that others who want to vote are able to do so.
But is the bar planning other events as a lead up to the conference that address the issues that we've been talking about, voting rights and women's equality?
Yes, indeed. In fact, I wanted this to be an entire year of commemorating the 19th Amendment, not just the two-day conference. And so we've already hosted, as you know, a book signing with Elaine Weiss, which was followed by a presentation from the Election Protection Project about how you could volunteer and describing their project and what they're doing around the country. In addition, Rebecca Roberts, who's written a book on the suffragists and the 13th parade, will be doing a book talk. As well, we have some of our communities and our programs office putting on CLE programs that relate to the 19th Amendment issues, such as voting rights and women's issues. So we have a full schedule of things. I want to take this opportunity to thank you. How is this conference going to be different from those other events?
We have a number of very highly regarded scholars, historians, and lawyers who are expert in the fields that we will be discussing. On our first day, we have the presidential historian and author Doris Kearns Goodwin. And we have former Attorney General Eric Holder, who, since leaving the office, has focused significantly on voting rights as well. We have a number of smaller breakout sessions that will address very discrete voting rights and women's equality issues, as you mentioned, workplace culture, anti-harassment. We also are going to be looking at military veterans' voting rights and the voting rights of those who have been or are incarcerated. So I think our conference will cover a number of topics that are very important to a broad spectrum of our bar membership. We also, of course, are fortunate to have the conference set in the nation's capital.
Right. And I know you have some special tours set up that are going to be available for our bar members and their families.
We have exhibitions at the National Archives, at the Portrait Gallery, at the Library of Congress, at the Paul Belmont House, and we are even going to have a docent-led tour of the National Air and Space Museum featuring women in aviation. And of course, there is Washington itself, which in June is a beautiful place. Right. We have the National Mall, we have the Smithsonian, we have Rock Creek Park. We have a lot that one can learn here in the District of Columbia and enjoy.
It's going to be a great opportunity for our bar members to come together. I'm actually looking forward to seeing some of my law school classmates who are bar members who practice out of state and hopefully will come for the conference. So I think it will be a great gathering, a great way to really commemorate this important milestone, to learn, and then just to have a little fun.
Yes, well then I know you will join me in encouraging people to sign up and attend the conference, whether you're a bar member, not a member, a historian, a scholar, or a member of the public. Everyone is invited to come and learn about these important issues and look at our history and what we can learn from it, and focus on protecting our future when it comes to voting rights.
I couldn't have said it better. Thanks so much, Allie.
Thanks,
Please come
Susie.
join us.